You could be spending 90 minutes in the gym and still be wasting time. But at the same time, a 30-minute workout could be effective. That begs the question, how long should a workout last? I'll tell you exactly how long. Let's take a deep dive into this topic in this video. Last week, we talked about workout frequency. That is, how many times in a week you should be working out. The short answer to that question is you should be working out anywhere between 3 to 5 times per week. Now, assuming that you're already doing that, let's dive deep into the workout duration. This depends on so many factors. The most important one perhaps being your training status. If you're a complete beginner, your body is not used to any sort of exercise stimulus, then even spending 15 minutes just learning the basic movement patterns, training your brain to recruit muscle fibers to do the main easy simple movements such as push-ups or squats or any sort of rowing or pulling movement, that alone will get you a lot of results. You will build strength and eventually that will turn into building muscle. Now, what if you're not a complete beginner and a simple 15-minute workout is not sufficient stimulus for you to build muscle and strength? Don't worry about that. I am living proof that even with minimal time and effort, you can get a lot of progress done. I got injured sometime towards the start of December, and since then I haven't hit the gym even once. And I did lose a little bit of strength and muscle, but that's barely minimal. My clothes still fit the same. I'm still about as strong as I've ever been, and just about 2 weeks of getting back into the gym, I can get back to my peak again. And how did I do that? By smart and efficient training. I would pretty much just do 3 workouts per week with 20 to 30 minutes of time investment doing basic body weight movements and resistance band stuff. So even if you are more advanced, you can do advanced exercise variations such as pistol squats, one arm push-ups, or more advanced banded variations. The point being that whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, you can still get a lot of work done with minimal time investment, even if you don't have access to a gym or any sorts of equipment. You just need to be smart about it. The most important thing that dictates how long your workout should last is quite simply the workout frequency. If you're just working out 2 times or 3 times per week, naturally you're going to have to spend more time per workout in order to get sufficient volume and to get enough work done to progress and get stronger and build more muscle. On the flip side, if you're working out 5 or 6 days per week, you really don't need to spend as much time per workout as someone that would work out only 2 or 3 times per week. Now let's get into more specifics. Let's take a look at the most popular training splits and how much time you would need per workout based on what you're doing. If you're doing a full body session, let's say you're starting with legs, you're doing 2 exercises, let's say squats and trap bar deadlifts, and then you're going on to 2 upper body exercises, bench press and pull-ups, and after that you're doing 2 or 3 accessory exercises. It could be bicep curls, tricep push down, some sort of core exercise. All of that put together, it's every single muscle in your body working. It's setting up so many different equipments and recovering between sets. All of that put together, it might take at least 60 minutes. It can go upwards of 90 minutes if you're being efficient. If you're wasting time, you could be spending 2 hours in the gym, scrolling on your phone, talking to people, and then just killing time here and there. But if you are efficient with a full body split, you would need anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes. If you're following a upper lower split where you're doing upper body on one day, lower body on another day, or even something like a push-pull leg split. Push exercises on one day, pull exercises on another day, and legs again on one day. In that case, you would not need nearly as much time as a full body split, quite simply because it's lesser number of muscles worked. In this case, you would still need somewhere between 45 to 60 minutes per workout if you're being efficient with it. And the next training split would be bro splits, wherein you're targeting one particular muscle group per session. And this is something that bodybuilders typically do. And if you're focused on building muscle, this is something that you would do. In this case, you really do not need as much time. It should not be taking more than 45 minutes because 45 minutes of proper focus training is more than enough to completely annihilate an entire body part. If you're spending more time than that, chances are your exercise sequencing is off or you're just wasting too much time between sets. And that's not it. You could get a workout done within 20 to 30 minutes in case of doing a deload or you're microdosing, which means you're doing just a little bit every single day to accumulate volume and you're being smart about what you're doing. In that case, 20 to 30 minutes of working out can be sufficient. You can still make some decent progress with it. Granted, it's not going to be as effective and as impressive as working out for longer durations. Now that we understand the relationship between workout duration and workout frequency and what it might look like in different training splits. Now let's talk about some effective ways of saving a lot of time in the gym. You need to be efficient, you need to be smart in your approach, and this is what I would suggest. The first thing that people think of when it comes to saving time in the gym is to completely skip the warm up. I mean, it saves 10 to 15 minutes right off the bat, doesn't it? What's the point of warming up? It's just slow, boring movements that don't really add any value in terms of building strength or muscle. So, what's the point? We can completely skip it. Wrong. A warm up is the most important part of a workout. It might just take 10 to 15 minutes. It might seem like a lot at first because you're not really doing much that's exciting, but a good warm up not only prevents injuries, but it also helps to enhance your performance and sets you up to perform at your best for all the exercises that follow. So, if you can't really skip warm ups, how do you save more time in your workouts? The simple answer is how you sequence your exercises. You can use something like supersets, which is doing an exercise and then jumping straight into another exercise right after it, so that you don't really waste much time, but how you sequence your supersets really matter. I like something called as antagonist paired sets, which is basically two muscles that are opposite to each other that do the opposite function. For example, you do bicep curls. While your biceps are exhausted, you can jump straight into tricep pushdowns. There are two muscles that do the opposite function, which means while one muscle is resting, the other one can be working. And it literally saves you so much time. And this can also be done with push or pull exercises. You could do some sort of a bench press or a push up variation and alternate that with a rowing or some sort of a pulling variation. You could do a shoulder press and you can alternate that with pull ups or a lat pull down. You could also do this with legs. You could do some sort of a leg extension and then hamstring curl as a superset. You get the idea. Alternating muscles work really well in supersets. You could also do drop sets, which is you do an exercise and then you continue doing the same exercise until complete failure by reducing the weight by 25 to 30% after each set. So, for example, you're doing bicep curls with 20 kgs. Once you get exhausted after doing, say, 10 or 15 reps, then you reduce the weight to 15 kgs and you continue going on. And then you drop it down to 10 and you keep going on. And you can do multiple drop sets one after the other, which is accumulating a large amount of volume. And the beauty of this way of training is that not only are you accumulating volume, you're accumulating volume closer to failure. And despite the weights being a lot lesser compared to what would typically get you exhausted when you're well rested, you get good quality work done. And your muscles don't know the difference between a heavy weight or a lightweight. It only knows what tension it's feeling, the amount of efforts that it is putting. So even with lesser weights, you can get a lot of quality work done. And that's why drop sets are absolutely beautiful. But be smart in doing drop sets. Don't be using drop sets on exercises such as deadlifts or squats. Exercises where you are at risk of hurting yourself if the technique goes off. So use it on basic exercises such as isolation lifts, training your arms, your shoulders, your calves, or any sort of basic machine lifts where the technique can't really go wrong. Another great way of saving time is to use circuits in exercising, which means you set up a sequence of 5 or 6 exercises and then you cycle through them. You do one set of one exercise, then you move on to the other one, and then you go through all exercises, and that's one set. And you do that 2 or 3 times around, and that's your entire workout. This works especially well when you want to do something where you keep your heart rate elevated or you're trying to burn a lot of fat by keeping yourself moving throughout the session. And it works well with muscular endurance, which is high rep training, which is basically to completely exhaust your muscles by pushing them beyond the limit. This might not work very well when it comes to pure strength because strength demands maximal effort, which means you need to rest effectively so that you're able to lift as heavy as possible with good technique. Personally, my favorite way of saving time in a workout is by using exercises that require minimal setup. Doing any sort of body weight based movement like pull ups or more advanced push up variations, pistol squats, stuff like that, it takes absolutely no equipment. It doesn't take any setup. I could do it at home. I could do it at a gym by adding some sort of weight like weighted push ups or weighted dips, that kind of stuff. It goes really fast and it's easy to get the work done. And at the same time, you're overloading your muscles. It is an advanced movement and it is progressing you towards getting stronger. But compare that with deadlifts, where you have to stack plates upon plates upon plates, and you have to re-rack the weights once you're done. That is something that takes so much time. In fact, putting the plates on and taking the plates off itself sometimes feels more exhausting than the workout itself. That's something that I dread. But at the same time, maintaining a good balance of prioritizing important compound lifts which demand your time for more long-term benefits is worth it. But at the same time, you've got to include exercises that save you time. So long story short, typically using any sort of calisthenics, resistance bands, ready-made machines, or dumbbells can be faster than using barbells. I know that's so much information coming your way, and that was my intention with this video, to tell you everything that you need to know in order to save more time in your workouts and to make it more efficient. With that being said, watch this video right here to know how I transformed myself without using any sort of equipment during the pandemic era. And that's when I made the best gains of my life. It really is interesting. And until next time, take care, stay hungry.